How's it hanging, everybody? Ravensblade back here with part 2 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Tactician full release walkthrough. Last episode we did go through the sort of prologue and tutorial zone, and now we are back properly in the world of mortals. We do have our crossbow and our scale mount on. We're going to be going for a fighter 1 build into sorcerer warlock multi-class. Maybe pick up another level of fighter down the road for action surge. It's very powerful. Being able to take a section action in a turn could get us another spell cast. But let's go ahead and get right into it. It looks like we do have a couple of places to loot. We got this mangled fisher right here, a couple gold pieces.
In the pungent corpse. Since you awoke on the ship, your mind has been cold and empty, but something stirs. With your hands close to this body, you know nothing of why, but you find a half smile flittering across your face.
And that is part of our Dark Urge origin, so we are definitely got some very dark thoughts going into us. We are going to be trying to resist the darker parts of ourselves whenever we can, so we are going to push the smile away. This is not above board for us. Actually, let's go ahead. We do have a -1 to intelligence, but we're going to try to remember the last time we stood above a corpse. And that'll do it.
As soon as you delve into your mind, it is filled with flashes of 1,000 different dead. There is something unknown and unspeakable deep within your heart.
Alright, well, it looks like we do have Shadowheart here, so let's go see if she's okay. Just so that she's unconscious. I am very concerned about the artifact that she has and the fact that she doesn't want to say anything about it, but you don't make very many friends by prying into other people's affairs, especially ones you just met, so we're going to go ahead and wake her up first.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
It doesn't really matter how it's possible. We made it, and we have some... We're gonna have to deal with the problem that we have.
True. Seems like we're the lucky ones, judging by all the corpses strewn about. I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Do you have any idea where we are, Shadowheart?
No. I don't recognize this place. But anything's an improvement on where we just came from. First things first, we need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
Yeah, you want to stay together?
We need each other, and we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
Alright, fair enough. Let's get moving.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that. Lead the way.
Yeah, no worries, Shadowheart. You seem like a fairly nice person, if you have your secrets, but glad to have you along. So let's just continue here along the beach. There's some stuff for us to loot, so we'll be going through that. Ooh, a brimmed hat. This wizardly hat has a little embroidered rabbit inside its lining. Aw, that's very cute. Alright, we are actually going to be getting a wizard companion later on, so I think we'll save that for him. And then some more healing potions. Alright, so while I go ahead and go through the motions of just collecting all of this loot fairly standard type of thing. I do want to go ahead and get started a sort of question of the day for each video that I have. So I have gone ahead and thought up one for this first, well, the second episode, I should say. So if you were to be a Dungeons and Dragons class in real life, what would you be? For myself, I'd probably say a wizard. I'm definitely a bookish type, and I'm very about organization and spreadsheets and everything, so that definitely seems like a wizard to me. But I'm very interested to see what you guys say down in the comments, so looking forward to reading all of those. We do have a door here, but if I remember correctly, yeah, it is locked, and I think we had picked up a... Yeah, we do have a couple of thieves' tools, but we don't have proficiency in sleight of hand, if I remember correctly now. It'll just be a +2. We'll go ahead and leave that for now. There is actually another way to get into that room. You also see here we did unlock this waypoint, so if we go onto the map, opening this up by pressing M, we can actually fast travel here, and it'll port us out right there. That'll be a feature we make more use of as we go throughout the game. Just picking up some of these herbs. I'm pretty sure they have to do with the alchemy system, and like I promised, I will try my best to get involved with that as we go along. And a couple final corpses for us to loot, and then we will have a combat encounter. Unfortunately, the brain puppies are no longer going to be our friends, so we're going to go ahead and just sneak up here and try to get the jump on them. As you can see, they're outlined in red when we're sneaking, so you know that they're not going to be friendly to us. If they were in yellow, they would only be hostile as soon as we took hostile actions, but like I said, they are going to be hostile. So we're going to wait till right then so that we can get both of them. Looks like we did miss right there. And that is something that's new in early access. We did not have what were those called? The synaptic discharge. That was not something that the Intellect Devourers had, but they have them now. We are a little bit hurt, and we don't have our action because we used the firebolt to start the fight. But we're gonna go ahead and... I don't know if I want to. I think we'll get a short rest after this, as well as we're going to be able to level up. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip the turn there, and then he's a little bit further. I don't know how often they can do the synaptic discharge. They might be able to do it once per turn. That's what it looks like right now. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and use our fighter class action, Second Wind, to heal ourselves a little bit. We do get that back on every short rest, so I'm not too worried about using that resource, and then we're just going to hit him again. Ooh, a critical hit. Still not enough to take it out, but definitely going to help our sort of damage as we go on. Ooh, nice. A good miss right there. Alright, now if we can take this guy out, he won't be able to attack us. Perfect. That worked like a charm. And we'll just go ahead and end there. Disadvantage. I guess we can move up a little bit further so that she can be in range. 95% chance to hit. I'll take it. Another 6 damage. Alrighty. Shadowheart is looking kind of hurt, so if we can move her behind Fenris, hopefully the Intellect Devourer will shoot him. Unfortunately, that was not the case, so she is going to be going down. When you do go down in combat, you have to roll death saving throws. So if you roll a 10 or above, then you get a saving throw success. And if you roll a 10 or below, and that's a failure, an 11 or above is a success. So it looks like she did succeed on her first death saving throw, so she's not going to be dead just yet, but she is going to be unable to do anything in combat until we either take the help action to get her up to 1 HP, heal her, or she succeeds on all of her death saving throws or fails. But I don't think it'll come to that. We're just going to go ahead and gun this Intellect Devourer down. Not quite enough, but we're still pretty healthy, so it can go ahead and Synaptic Discharge again. Now, as you can see, she automatically rolled another death saving throw. Looks like another success, so that is just fine. And we're going to finish off this brain puppy right here. Alrighty, it looks like they did update it to after combat, you automatically succeed on the death saves, perhaps. But yeah, she's very hurt. Luckily, we do have some level up, so that it's going to give us some more HP, as well as we can go ahead and hit this button right here to take a couple short rests to get some health back. So let's go ahead and go into that right now. Alright, so as you can see here, it automatically slots you into going into the next level of whatever class you're in, but we do want a multi-class, so you hit this add class button up here in the top right. And we're going to go Warlock for the next 2 levels. This is going to give us Eldritch Blast, which won't be super good at 2nd level, but starting at 3rd level and then going forward, it's going to be our main attack. And then a couple little spell slots. Warlocks have a unique feature that they only get a couple of spell slots as opposed to the other casters getting a lot more, but their spells come back on every short rest instead of every long rest. So there's a little bit more versatility there. So we are going to go ahead and we will take Eldritch Blast. The other thing that we are going to take is Minor Illusion's nice for some utility. Friends is tempting, but the fact that they are they will go ahead and realize that you charm them and become hostile afterwards is kind of harming us in that role. Undead could be useful. We are going to be facing some undead here fairly shortly, but I think we'll just go Minor Illusion for the added utility. I am personally going to try the new Archfey class. I think that this Fey presence is very fun. You can choose to either charm or frighten creatures, and this is going to be the only feature that we're going to be getting. So I think all of them have a decent amount of utility, and there's an argument to be made for all of them. You know, getting causing frightened on critical hits, and then getting temporary hit points whenever you reduce a creature to 0. Those are both very good features, but I wanted to go ahead and try out the new subclass here. And then as far as the spells we're going to be taking, I believe we do get Fairy Fire already, being a drow once we get to level 3, so we're not going to go ahead and do that. And then Sleep is strong, but we might be able to pick that up through Sorcerer later, so I'm less tempted to pick that. I do want to get Hex. That is going to be very important for us. Hex is going to add a d6 to all of our attack rolls after we cast it on a target, and we can do that with a bonus action. And I'll go ahead and grab Armor of Agathis. I think that's a fun spell that only Warlocks get access to normally. It gives us some temporary hit points, and then melee attacks against us provoke cold damage for as long as those hit points last. So we're going to go ahead and pick those 2. And as I mentioned, we're still going to be using the light crossbow for this next level. It only does a d8 damage as opposed to the Eldritch Blast d10, but we are adding our proficiency bonus, our dexterity bonus here. So that's going to be an average of 6.5 damage when we hit, as opposed to the 5.5 on an Eldritch Blast. So a little bit, tiny bit more. There is an argument to be made if the enemy has a high armor class, then we're a little bit more likely to hit with the Eldritch Blast, but we can go ahead and do that as it comes up. We're going to go ahead and level up Shadowheart as well. For now, I'm okay with her continuing to level up in Cleric. Especially to get towards level 3 spells. Clerics have very good spells in the early game, in my opinion, so we're good there. She still only has 1st level spells right now. Spellcasters typically get new spells every odd level, so because this is an even level, level 2, she's not going to get anything else. But I believe that it's just going to give her more hit points at this level, which is just fine. And then probably not going to be taking Cure Wounds. I don't know that it's super worth it all the time to spend actions healing in combat. We do have some bonus action healing in a pinch to get people up and the like. Shield of Faith is an interesting option. Sanctuary is an interesting option. And then we might have some fun with Create Water later on. But I think I'm going to go with Sanctuary. It's one of the new spells. And we'll just go ahead and go from there. So we are still both pretty hurt, so I'm going to go ahead and take our first short rest. You can get 2 short rests every long rest, and they will restore 50% of your hit points. So we are just fine after that long rest, or that short rest there. Switch back to our main character so we can have all of our inventory consolidated into one. And a rapier is pretty nice. That's actually going to be slightly better in terms of damage, and we will be getting a shield eventually, so I do want to go ahead and take that. Poor brain puppy. Intellect devour cerebellum. Create a suspension, and then they can create elixirs of psychic resistance. Okay, pretty neat. There's a mind flayer up here that we'll go ahead and see if there's any loot in. Got another void bulb. Sure, I don't know how often we're going to be using those, but never hurts to stock up while you got the inventory space. We got some basic poison. And a potion of speed. That's very good. That is not quite as good as in early access. That just gave you the full effects of the haste spell, but this still does give you advantage on dexterity saves, doubles your movement speed, and get some more armor class, so that is nice for defense in a pinch. So we're going to go ahead and go this way, looting more brain puppies as we go. And there is some more lootable options here. So before, you weren't guaranteed to get Thieves' Tools on the beach like we did. So if you aren't lucky, this is going to be the first option that you have to get some Thieves' Tools guaranteed. That is going to be useful for opening locked containers. And then some more gold, and then you can see right here. So if we pull up our character sheet, we have a 14 to dexterity, which means we have a +2 to dexterity checks, which will be what our sleight of hand is keyed off of. We are going to be slightly better than Shadowheart. At a 13, she only gets a +1, so we're going to be trying to pick all of the locks for our party. Now, I do want to go ahead and show you an interesting and very cool little mechanic here. So you can see here that we are going to use one of our Thieves' Tools potentially if we open this, and then we do get a +2 to the roll. It's only a difficulty class 5, so as long as we roll a 3 or higher, we're going to be able to do it. But there is this add bonus option down here, and Shadowheart, being a cleric, has the guidance cantrip, which will give you an extra 1d4 to your ability check. So this is going to add between 1 and 4 to our roll to make it almost guaranteed that we are able to unlock this chest. Didn't matter, we already beat the difficulty class, but as you can see there, she added an additional 4 to our check, so that is going to be useful later on. This is going to add +1 to dexterity saving throws, so no reason not to equip it. I do like our character's hair, and I like to be able to see my character's faces, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that helmet all of the time by clicking that option there. And we are going to see another survivor over here, so let's go ahead and talk with him.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Harry, I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
I don't know, man. Brain puppies are pretty fearsome, but you know what? I'm not one to deny a person in need. So we'll just go ahead and tell him to stand back. We'll take care of this.
There. Can you see it?
Unfortunately, we did fail the perception check.
Shh. Not a sound. Not if you want to keep that darling neck of yours. And you, keep your distance. No need for this to get messy.
I need him alive. Stow that blade, or I'll show you just how messy things can get.
Promises, promises. But I have other business, I'm afraid. Now, I saw you on the ship, didn't I? Not?
Well, I appreciate at least the the threat of violence from Shadowheart, but it doesn't look like she's actually moving to do anything for us here. So you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and yeah, we're gonna get out of this ourselves. She can go ahead and bless us, but I don't want to waste a spell slot right here. So we may not be able to make this. It is kind of a high check. We are going to fail, unfortunately, but that's okay.
You wriggling little... Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
Let's try to be a little bit diplomatic about this. I know you guys got a dagger at our throat and everything, but it's the Mind Flayer's worm. It connected us. There you go. Put a little love in the world and you'll get some back. Plus we both have white hair, so there's a bit of a kinship, I think.
Not one of them. They took you. Just the same as me. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
Yeah, this seems like a little bit more than a sorry situation, but you know, we're gonna be diplomatic. Apology accepted. You know, there was 2 people coming up on you. You didn't know. You're scared. I understand.
A kindred spirit. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
Yeah, I'm quite the state, but I think I'm Fenris.
A pleasure. So, do you know anything about these worms?
Yeah, unfortunately, they're gonna turn us into Mind Flayers.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
You should travel with me. Our odds are better together.
You know, I was ready to go this alone, but maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know.
Well, thank you.
All right. I accept. Lead on.
As he joins your side, your mind dances with thoughts of a perfect, pretty corpse.
Alright, that's probably fine. So we are going to go ahead and level him up. Astarion is a rogue. So he'll have sneak attack and be able to dash, disengage, and hide as a bonus action. We're going to continue him along the path of rogue. I don't know how long he's going to be in the party. Like I said, I sort of have an idea of the party members that I'm going to want for this run. But he's a decent companion anyways. And there may be some build videos I do later down the track involving rogue, because I think there's some fun things you can do. But like I said, they just get these bonus actions at level 2, so we're going to go ahead and accept that. Alrighty, and then as you see here, you do have the sneak attack in melee as well as the one in ranged. Do be careful when you are using your rogues. If you were to just attack like this, it wouldn't give you the sneak attack. You have to manually select the sneak attack option in order to do it. You can only sneak attack when you have advantage against an enemy or when a allied creature is within 5 feet of it. So you won't always be able to get it, but if you position properly, you should normally be able to. And rogues don't get extra attack, so it is very important for their damage numbers to try and get sneak attack every turn if you can.
Got a long road ahead.
The other thing that I want to go ahead and do is, for as long as we're keeping him, might as well let him dual wield for a little bit of extra damage. Yeah, there we go. I knew I had a pair of short swords. And that'll just give him some extra chances to apply his sneak attack there. We'll just go ahead and put all of his various items with Fenris, and we'll get to going. Now, there is a secret over here that I want to go ahead and see. Hey, Piggy. Sorry that we almost hurt you. Alright, so if we jump down here, and our companions automatically jump down with us, I am going to go ahead and save right here because it is reliant on a skill check, so you're not guaranteed. If you're really worried about it, you can use Shadowheart to give one of your characters a bonus on their ability checks with her guidance, but I wasn't too worried. Now, I don't know if 13 strength is enough. It might be. It is just enough. Excellent. So Shadowheart will be able to move that for you regardless of what you have. So there is some potions in here, some gold, and a gate, and then a ruby. That used to be worth 1,600 in early access, so quite a bit of a downgrade. But we also have this Harper's Map that tells us about a cache somewhere called Moonrise Towers, and then this notebook here. I'm talking about a Selûnite sect. Selûne is one of the goddesses in this world. She's the goddess of the moon and goodly lycanthropes. I believe there are a couple other things in her portfolio, but those are like the main things. She is one of the oldest goddesses in the D&D lore, to my knowledge, and she is also a twin with her sister Shar. Shar and Selûne do not get along very much. Shar is kind of like the evil twin, and Selûne is like the good twin, so we are probably going to be seeing more about them as we go on. Now, it does look there like there's a mind flayer here. There is a dialogue that you can get into with this mind flayer, but I think it's probably the safest bet to just go ahead and put him out of his misery. Somehow I missed. Alright, there you go, Fenris. Second time's the charm, right?
Death is too good for it.
Alrighty, and like I said, not going to be grabbing that skull because it's not worth too much. Anything up here? No. Okay. We're going to continue on. There are a couple of dead goblins over here, so maybe they died in the crash or afterwards.
Maybe.
We have some scimitars. And then some more camp supplies. That's always good. And something is strange about this portal. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
You approach the sigil on the stone. Magic glitters and swirls from it erratically, as if malfunctioning. It looks slightly dangerous.
Normally, like I said, I'm not a risk taker, but I do know a little bit about what happens here. So I'm going to go ahead and touch the sigil. Finger glowed for a bit there.
A hand? Anyone?
We could try to pull him out, but I'm a little bit worried about feeling like we are urged to maim him. So let's try and do the Warlock specific class action to use our charisma to attune ourselves to the sigil's magic. And we can go ahead and get a guidance from Shadowheart. And that That is going to be enough with our bonus from Charisma. And then the guidance from Shadowheart is just extra icing on the cake.
Whatever you're doing is working wonders. Now a quick little pull should do the trick.
Hello there.
Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
No need to apologize. Are you alright?
A bit shocked, but friend, it's a relief and a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the Norse Lloyd as well.
We never saw you, but yeah, I was on the Nautiloid.
And I can only assume you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region.
I love Gale. Couldn't have phrased it more repellently myself,
No
indeed.
use sugarcoating it, is there? The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers?
Yeah,
It's a process
unfortunately
known
I
as
am.
Ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided.
You don't
You
say.
don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
You seem to know enough about our condition to realize it's beyond most clerics' skills.
Most, no doubt, but I find myself hoping to be in the presence of the few. You don't happen to be one of them.
Yeah. Like I said, we're not going to be doing totally fighter, but I think this is a fun option. My hands are better suited to less delicate pursuits. I can offer you a swift end, but I can't cure you.
As we've established, few enough can. It's not exactly a common affliction. We're most certainly going to need a healer, and soon, too. How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Sounds like a plan. You're welcome to join me.
Most excellent. Parasite shared is a parasite halved, or something to that effect. Oh, but before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you. For I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
There we go. So this is Gale. He is a wizard. And I do think that we will be taking Gale. I quite like him. I think he is pretty charismatic and funny, and he's just generally a very nice person. So that is something that I want to surround myself with. Wizards, unlike some other classes, do get their subclass at level 2. So we are going to be choosing a subclass for him. It automatically slots you into Evocation. Evocation's like the damaging, blasty type school. But that's not the primary thing that I want him to be doing. For Gale, I really want him to be a battlefield controller, doing a bunch of spells that will hinder our enemies, debuffing them, things of that nature. And so for that, I think Divination is going to be the best school. They do get this feature called Portent, and you get 2 random dice. So whenever somebody makes a saving throw or an attack roll, you can use your reaction to change their dice to one of the dice that you have rolled previously. So this can turn enemy attacks into misses. This can turn ally attacks into hits. This can turn enemy saving throws into misses and allied saving throws into successes. So a very, very strong feature, and it's only able to be used once. In 5th edition, I believe at 14th level, you're able to use it twice, but we're only able to be used, it's only able to be used once here, but once will be just fine for our purposes. Now, he does already have a couple of known spells, so we may respec later in order to change those out for him. But we do get 2 more spells here. Out of the spells that we have available to us, You're definitely going to want the shield spell, in my opinion. I think that the shield spell is very, very good. What it will do is when you're about to be hit by an enemy, you can use your reaction to increase your armor class by 5. It also blocks magic missiles, but that's the less thing. Increasing your armor class by 5 until the start of your next turn is very powerful, and it's going to make him fairly difficult to damage. The other thing that we're going to go ahead and grab is Magic Missile ourselves. Sometimes you do just need that extra bit of damage, and Magic Missile can't miss. It can only be blocked by the shield spell, so we're definitely going to be making use of that in those clutch scenarios. And then as you can see here, there are some spells that he already knows. I really don't like Witch Bolt. I don't think it's the best spell, so we're going to be taking that out. And then the area that we're going to be going into next, Sleep is not going to be super useful for. So instead, we're going to go ahead and prepare the shield and magic missile spells that we just picked up. Now, I may, at some point down the track, respec him into a first level of fighter as well, just like our character. The same concept, bonuses to constitution saving throws, which will help with concentration on spells, as well as getting that armor, because as it is, we are basically required to cast mage armor on him. As you can see, his armor class is only 11 without it, so with the mage armor, it's at least going to be a 14, which is a little bit harder to hit. And then one...
First in magic, are you?
I didn't mean to talk to you. That's fine. We are a warlock, so we do have powers for our patron.
Oh, I do apologize. I meant to ask, are you studied in magic? Namely, are you a wizard? Which you are not. If you meet any elder wizards, let me know. There is a matter I'd like to seek advice on from a master.
Alright, a bit snooty there, Gale, but that's fine. I was just going to try to explain something here. Wizards do get arcane recovery, so they are able to recover half of their wizard level rounded up in spell slots. So because we had spent the first level on mage armor, we can go ahead and use our arcane recovery to get that spell slot right back. And we can't use that until a long rest again, but having all of your spell slots while going into combat is always a good thing. There is another interaction up here, and we're going to be seeing a familiar face. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick save. I do recommend quick saving as soon as you do anything major. Always helps. Just press the F5 key, and we can save very quickly and easily. So let's see what we got going here.
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad, twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them. Holy house. Under elf.
Lay tied, I miss her.
I don't really want to kill them, so hopefully we can just use our intimidation. We do have intimidation proficiency with our Haunted One background, so we got a fairly decent shot at getting this, and we can also add it in our guidance from Shadow Heart. So unless we roll a 1, which I do believe that they can do crit fails on skill checks in Baldur's Gate 3, then yeah, we're just fine. So yeah, if you will please just go ahead and leave.
Demaze.
Come, I miss her. Now.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
I think that this is kind of a funny option, but I understand that she's upset right now, so sure, we'll go ahead and get you down. Alrighty, and then as you can see up in the top left, when we did that dialogue option, Gale did approve of that. Like I said, he's a fairly good person, so he appreciates when you go out of your way to help other people or preserve their sort of life. So let's go ahead and shoot her down. Terrible roll right there. Alright,
The
what's up,
tadpole
Lae'zel?
hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
Yeah, so if we're lucky, hopefully the tadpole will eat away the mean portion of your brain, Lae'zel. But just for lore for you guys, we'll go ahead and ask what exactly a creche is.
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter.
Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a gay tadpole, we must report to Augustil for purification.
Alright, we will go together. Let's find this creche.
You are full up. Dismiss your weakest warrior.
Just for now, go ahead. I think that it may be more beneficial to take Lae'zel over Astarion, so we'll just tell her to wait in the
Very
camp.
well, but heed my words.
The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki.
A creche must be near. I must interrogate this Zoru. Our very lives depend on it. I will be at your camp. Do not keep me waiting.
Okay, like I said, I think it's going to be a little bit more beneficial to have Lae'zel than Astarion at this juncture. We do have our entire party at this time is going to be ranged. Astarion's a little bit... He's a little bit squishy to have in melee combat by himself, so we're probably going to head and use Lae'zel instead of him. So in order to get to your camp, you can either press the map key and travel there this way, or you can press the rest button and go to your camp, which we're going to go ahead and do. So BG3 has a very interesting and cool feature where your camp is dynamic based on the type of environment that you're in. So as you can see, we're in kind of a wooded foresty area and our camp reflects that. So we're going to go ahead and go. Another thing that is interesting is that we have this traveler's chest. So whenever you are in camp, you can, or whenever you're picking up items in the world, you can right click over them and send it to camp. And then those will appear in this traveler's chest here. So as you can see, we sent those scrolls of Revivify to camp, and they are right here. So we'll go ahead and take those back. I do also have these things that I got for being a patron of early access. When you are, it automatically upgrades your game to the digital deluxe edition. So you get some dye. I'm not quite sure what's in here. What's in here? You get some items here, and the like. But we're gonna go ahead and leave those for the time being. I'm not sure which edition of the game you guys are running on, so I don't want to be using anything that would hinder your ability to follow this walkthrough. But we're gonna go ahead and talk to Astarion here.
I am enjoying the latest addition to our little group. Lae'zel is delightful.
Isn't she
In a
just?
look at me twice and I'll dismember you kind of way, of course.
I do appreciate how quick Astarion is on the uptake. Yeah, can you go ahead and stay here in camp for a while?
Oh, darling, I'm hurt. I thought we had something special.
We do. I just need to make sure that you're safe.
I guess I'll spend my evenings lounging here while you do all the hard work. It sounds awful.
I quite like Astarion's personality, but unfortunately doesn't really fit in our party composition here.
Chatter already, Tusky.
And we can actually talk to her about a couple of things. Lae'zel, being one of the darker characters, might understand why our mind is so filled with images of violence. So let's ask her about that.
Many a good warrior savors the scent of blood in the air. There's no shame in a capricious murder now and again. Too many, though, and you waste energy and dull your weapon. My suggestion, Attack with purpose and savor your kills. And if the urge proves too much, well, I'm sure we can find you a goblin or two to carve up.
That's unusually understanding of you, Lysel. I appreciate that. My past is a mystery to me. Could the parasite have caused that?
Ceramorphosis takes all of you. Mind, body, soul. An ordinary tadpole would eat at your memories until they were lost to the void. But our tadpoles are far from ordinary. I wonder if another factor's in play.
Do you know much about the Mind Flayers?
I understand much beyond your comprehension. More to the point, I know the cure for our condition. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to observe more and question less.
And I think you would get more flies with honey than vinegar, but you know, I think we already know what happens if we don't find a cure. Let's ask her about her people.
I expect I am your first.
I imagine that we were fairly well read, so we know of Githyanki, but she's the first one we've ever met.
Of course you haven't. They would have cut you from navel to neck. You are no less alien to me than I am to you. I know of your kind, but I do not often encounter them. That large, fleshy nose of yours looks like a mistake.
Really? Thanks for noticing.
It was an observation, not a compliment. No matter. I do not intend to stay long in this place.
I think you're gonna warm up to us, Liza. Yeah, join our party.
It is done.
Alrighty. And we can also go ahead and level her up. Alrighty, so at second level, fighters get Action Surge, which means they can use a second action in combat. That's either an extra attack. In our case, eventually, if we go that route, that'll be an extra spell cast that we can do. Very, very powerful ability. And fighters' class skills come back on short rests as well. So you can use that a couple times throughout the day. So we're going to keep going in fighter for her. And we will go ahead and give her back the Burning Blade for as long as she's going to be our main frontliner. That's going to be useful for her. She does have the great weapon fighting style, so she'll be able to get a little bit more damage on average. I don't think that this fighting style is amazing. If it were me and I was going a similar build to Lysel, I would probably have gone defense. I think that the bonus armor class is a little bit more useful than a couple extra points of damage on average, maybe like 1 or 2. But you know, to each their own. It is a way to increase your damage. And let's go ahead and see if any of our other companions want to talk to us. Gale?
I have something to ask.
A Githyanki joining our company. Not a collaboration I'd have anticipated, but a welcome one nonetheless.
My memories before the Nautiloid are shrouded in darkness.
Memory loss isn't usually a symptom of ceramorphosis. If it is, they've forgotten to write it down in any text I've read on the subject. Then again, our case isn't exactly usual. Perhaps whatever's causing our tadpoles to remain in stasis has also affected your mind. If ceramorphosis takes place, all trace of your former self will be subsumed into the Mind Flayer's hive. So, to still be here, if a mite forgetful, still a win in my book.
Glass half full. I appreciate that, Gale. But I'm having violent thoughts.
We all have those from time to time. I once wished a most impure demise on a colleague of mine who bore the last remaining copy of Etheril's Enchiridion of Enchanting Easements. First edition, too.
Well, that's very understandable.
As regards to your own morbid little fantasies, I'm sure they're nothing to worry about. So long as they remain fantasies.
Alright, I appreciate that, Gale. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, City of Splendors. I am a wizard of considerable acclaim and scholar of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at poetry.
We'll have to see some of that later on. Can you tell me something about the real you?
Certainly. That I have a great respect for privacy, for instance, especially my own.
All right, fair enough. We're not going to peer into his mind. He'll open up to us in time. All right, sounds good. And then, last but not least, let's go ahead and talk to Shadowheart.
Lae'zel has a dangerous look in her eyes. Let's just hope she reserves those impulses for any common foes.
I'm sorry to tell you this, Shadowheart, but I am not exactly the nicest in my thoughts either. Yeah.
Interesting. You're hardly alone. Bloodletting is quite popular of late. Though your twinge of conscience sets you apart from the brigands, monsters, and kill-happy fiends of the world. Whatever you think may be compelling you, you may have greater ability to resist it than you realize. Everyone has unseemly thoughts. Being able to quieten them is what sets us apart from the beasts.
I appreciate that, Shadowheart. That's a very nice sentiment. What do you think of all that's happened to us so far?
We haven't gone all that far yet. What are you referring to exactly?
What'll you do if we actually manage to remove the tadpoles?
I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course.
Well, there's no reason for us not to stay together if we get on well, right?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. If we do survive, we'll have separate lives to return to. I need to get to Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible.
Shadowheart seems the type of person that values her privacy, so I'm not going to pry into it.
Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
You must have thoughts about our little stowaways?
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. I'm not too hopeful that a Gith crash will actually prove our salvation, but worth keeping in mind.
And am I doing okay as a party lead?
You're not the kind of company I'd keep willingly, but all things considered, you'll do. And I haven't forgotten that you saved my life aboard the Nautiloid. Perhaps I'll be able to return the favor at some point.
Alrighty. We should get to know each other a little more.
Must we? No harm in a little mystery, don't you think?
I'm not going to press you if you're uncomfortable talking about yourself.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll get along perfectly well.
What's the story with that little artifact you have?
There's no story. None that you're entitled to hear, anyway. Just forget you ever saw it.
Okay. Good to know. Alright, let's get back into the action here. Alright, so let's get going. I wonder, does Gale have Find Familiar? He does not. Okay, that's fine.
These things have stayed interesting.
Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and make a save here. In your own game, you may choose to attack these people right here. They are sort of bandits and tomb robbers, so well within their rights of being punished, as it were, but we'll go ahead and speak with them just to do everything for the walkthrough.
You! Not another step, hear me? Boss! Got company up here! What's this then? Trying to creep around us and loot the crypt? Not happening. Or is it the ship you're after? Don't matter either way. It's ours. All of it.
I probably wouldn't go near it. There might be some other mind flayers or brain puppies lurking around. So we'll go ahead and see if we can convince them. Seems like we're pretty persuasive.
Well, in that case, come on, you lot. No point in getting killed. Second worm gets the cheese and all.
Second mouse gets the cheese, no?
Nobody's getting any damn cheese. Now move it.
Alright, so they will go ahead and leave with that option there. So that's another way that you can go ahead and deal with them. I imagine a couple of those other options that were available will also get them to leave without a fight. So they are worth a bit of XP, so that is a consideration. But like I said, we're going to try to be a good character whenever we can. So a couple of items here and there, and let's head in.
Why do you give a book? Everything all right out there?
Gimblebach ran, my guy.
Yeah? I've always were a bit soft, but I've got plenty of friends who ain't soft. Come in here and you can meet them.
Okay, well we do need to get in there. So we'll go ahead and just pick the lock. With our bonuses, that'll be just fine. Alright, let's get in. Okay, they are quite ready. Alright, well there's quite a bit of enemies there, so let's go ahead and all hide.
So might as well. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Nope, sorry, I wasn't trying to talk to you, Gal.
Maybe I should stay crouched forever.
Alright, so if you see back here, there is a red explosive barrel. I think they're actually a little bit too far away. But
Deep and move.
No such thing as coincidences. There's loot to be had.
let's just go ahead and use this lever here to close the door. Yeah, let me just close the door. I really don't know what they're gonna do here. Okay, well this is an interesting combat. Let's just go ahead and bless up. Do you, Shadowheart, and Lysel. And we will end our turn there. Wonder if it takes our action to use this. It does, unfortunately. Alright, well, let's go ahead and we will hex the dexterity of this wizard here. And then we're going to use one of our hidden characters to just boop, close that. Unfortunately, he was unable to do that. Let me see. Lysel, will you be able to do that? Yes, she will. Alright. Messing around the AI a little bit here. See, that was another reason you may have wanted to attack those men out front. There's a pillar that you may have saw that you can shoot that will come down in here and will do a bunch of damage and get them to all stand around the barrel. So another reason you may want to do that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get in position. Oh, he actually did damage to the door. So this door actually has the sturdy property, so you have to deal at least 10 damage in order to damage it. So, Lae'zel, be a doll and open the door for us. And then move right back.
Time to push my luck again.
Alright, and we did have this wizard hexed, so if we could move over here so that we could shoot her. You see that the green 5, that was the necrotic damage that we dealt to her. Lae'zel, if you'd be a deer. Alright, perfect. Now it is a little bit cheesy to go ahead and do this, but they are actually quite tough as combatants, so it is something that is useful to know on Tactician. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and put a pool of grease right in front of the door, so hopefully it'll get them to stumble. And they were also holding the torch, so it is going to go ahead and close up. I'm not quite certain why the door closed again, but they're going to be taking some damage over time from that. Alright, Lae'zel.
Talk to me.
Alright, let's finish off this wizard so she's not going to be a problem for us. Excellent. And close it back up.
I'm ready.
Now, eventually that barbarian should be able to break down this door, but we did actually manage to end his rage, so he just pocked another one. Alright. Open sesame, my dear.
Well, so much for peace.
Alright, next biggest threat, probably going to be these rangers back here, so we'll go ahead and... Well, actually, let's use our Fey Presence ability to frighten. Oh, that is... It's nearby, so it's around us, so we're not going to go ahead and do that. We'll just... that is one thing. When you have used your hex spell, as long as you're able to maintain concentration on it, you're able to reapply it without using another spell slot, which is useful because warlocks only get one spell slot at first level. So we're going to go ahead and hex their dexterity again, and then give her a nice little pot shot. Good amount of damage, that one. Happy with that. We'll close it up. And we'll go ahead and end our turn. Alright, Lae'zel, open up for us. Gale is going to go ahead and use a firebolt cantrip. There's a chance that he's able to kill her here.
Oh, yes.
Not if he rolls minimum damage, though. So it is a good idea to pile in your damage on the same enemies whenever you can. Splitting damage is pretty tactically inefficient, so that is something to keep in mind. Alrighty. I wonder if I can just leave her here. I'm a bit worried about her getting discovered, but it looks like she's just out of the line of sight for whatever reason.
What should I do?
Alright, and Shadowheart, be a deer and take this person out. Not quite. Our friends are not quite rolling high on the damage.
Never a dull moment.
probably shouldn't have blessed her if I wasn't going to be using her in combat, but that's fine. Alright, we'll go ahead and finish this person off. And then we will reapply our Hex as a bonus action, again using Dexterity for this gentleman right here. And if you would go ahead and close the door for me, Liza.
Let's go.
Unleash me.
And another firebolt. Good, sir. Alright, I would appreciate it if you could roll, you know, above average damage here one time, Gale, but that's fine.
Battle of wits.
So, like I said, guys, this combat is a little bit tedious, but these are the type of things that you may have to do on Tactician just to get the... So this is a good opportunity to show what Portent does. So Shadowheart needed a 13 to hit this gentleman right here, but she only rolled a total of 11. So she rolled 7 on the die and then got +4 from various bonuses. She's not going to hit this, but we can use our Portent die roll of 19 from Gale here to turn her miss into a hit. We're not going to do it because it's just a regular attack, but that is an option that is available to you by picking the Divination subclass.
Need to stay focused.
Kind of got out of position there. Hopefully it doesn't screw everything up. Alright, now go ahead and do some more damage to this lady right here. 10 damage, pretty good. That Hex is coming in clutch with the 6 damage roll.
Come on, can't stay idle.
So you are pretty much invulnerable with the strategy. Like I said, it would be a little bit easier if we had just attacked those people outside, but they weren't necessarily hostile, so didn't want to attack these guys. However, they are definitely going to hurt us if we let them.
Destroyer.
Got to concentrate.
As we will continue shooting. I don't want to move Shadowheart up, so she'll just continue shooting this gentleman right here. And unfortunately, we're rolling a lot of misses. Alright, so we should be able to finish off this lady right here. A 12 to hit. Unfortunately, even with our bonuses, we only rolled an 11, but that's fine. The Hex will remain on them until they die, so no worries about that.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Alright, and this combat's going to be a little bit tedious, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut ahead when they're all dead. Alright guys, so I have gone ahead and finished the combat. It did get a little bit hairier than I expected. Lysel was discovered, so the door trick didn't work anymore and they did get through. But nobody died, and we were able to save the spell slots for both Gale and Shadowheart. So we're going to go ahead and take one more short rest to get everybody relatively good. There is an encounter that I will be planning to take a long rest after, as soon as we get to it. But I think that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode today, guys. I want to thank you once again so much for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.